Hello, my students, and welcome to our Notes 1.3. Today we are going to be discussing rates. Now, I am going to give you an example, and it says, Juan picked 45 oranges in 5 minutes. Write as a unit rate. Now, we have discussed this in class for your project, but how would we do this? First of all, we would need to go ahead and get our units. So we are going to box in the units, and that's going to be oranges and then minutes. Okay? And then I'm going to circle my quantity or the amount needed. And for this, I'm going to use my orange highlighter. So I have 45 and 5. Okay, now I'm going to set this up as a fraction right here. Okay, and remember, this represents fraction, this represents also a ratio and also a division. Okay, so I am going to first get my oranges. So I'm going to put oranges up here. And what am I comparing this? I'm actually comparing it with minutes. Okay, now I am going to go ahead and put my equal sign. Now let's go ahead and find out how many oranges. So how many oranges do we have? We have 45 oranges. So I'm going to put 45. I'm also going to put oranges so we could know what I'm talking about. Okay, now I'm also comparing it with minutes. How many minutes do we have? I have 5 minutes. Now, if we remember correctly, I need to get my unit rate. That means how much or what is it going to be in order to get to 1. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put equals to 1. I need 1. I need to make this into a 1. But what is my units? That will be minutes. 1 minute. Okay. Now, there's many different ways you could get this answer. So we need to find out what did we do in order to get 1. What did we do to 5 in order to get 1? Now, many of you already figured this out, and you said, Ms. Romero, in order to go turn this 5 into a 1, I know it turned into a smaller number, so I had to divide. Okay, so what did you divide? Well, to get 1, I divide by the same denominator, so I have to divide by 5. Now, let's see if that's true. 5 divided by 5, does that equal 1? Yes. Now, if you remember, whatever we do on the denominator, we also do it to the numerator. So I need to be able to divide this by 5. Okay, and 45 divided by 5 is going to give you 9. Okay, so 9 what? Well, we have to put the units together. They are all oranges up here. So I'm going to put oranges. So that means that Juan is able to pick up 9 oranges in 1 minute. Okay, unit rate, you're always looking for that 1 as a denominator. Okay, and I am going to use my complete sentence, and I'm going to say 9 oranges per. Okay, remember this one also represents per minute or for every minute. Okay, and I'm going to circle or box in my answer. That is it. Now, there's another way to do this, and I will show you in case you want to use the same information. Okay, so you could use what we call the cross multiply. So we already know we're going to get the same information. Okay, and I'm going to put here just method 2. This is another way to do this. So I'm going to put 45 oranges. Okay, and 5 minutes. So I'm going to set this up the same way. Okay, but now I don't know what the quantity is here. So I'm going to put X. Okay, X oranges over And we need 1 minute because we need to get our unit rate. So I'm going to put 1 minute. Okay. Now when you have this, you have set these up, you're now going to do cross multiply. Okay. So I'm going to take away all of these, take off all of the units so you don't see it. So this is now going to turn like this. Okay, 45 over 5 equals x over 1. With the cross multiply, or some of you might call it that butterfly method, you're going to get this, okay, and you're going to multiply it. Okay, so you're going to get 5 times x, that equals 5x. Then you put equal. Then you go ahead and get the other side, and you're going to go like this. That's why it's called cross multiply. So you have your little butterfly here. Whee! Okay. And then what is 45 times 1? 45 times 1 equals 45. Now, does this look familiar? And let me go ahead and take this. All right, so I had to move this away. Okay, so if this looks familiar, we are now talking about the one-step equation. So 5 times something equals 45. So if you want to know what x is, we're going to do the inverse operation. So 5 times x, the inverse will be to divide. So you divide by 5. You divide by 5. And now you have x equals, because 5 times 5 is 1. This cancels off. You have x alone. And now you have 45 divided by 5. And that's going to give you 9. So you have x. X equals 9. So now you go ahead and put this one right here. And you're going to say 9 oranges. So if you notice, it is the same answer, but there's many different ways that you could do this. Okay, so this is method 2, and I'm going to put here method 1. You tell me which one is easier for you. Okay, remember there's many ways you could do this. All right, I'm going to give you one more, and I want you to try it and solve it. Okay, you could use either method 1 or method 2. Okay, so example number 2. A motorcycle rides 18 miles in 30 minutes. How far can it travel in 1 minute? So every time you need to turn it into a unit rate again, you have to have that 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and find out what we have so far. Okay, so right here, I am going to circle with my orange. I'm going to circle my number. I have 18. 18 what? 18 miles. Okay. But then I have 30 minutes. I'm going to circle 30. And I am going to box in minutes. Okay. How far can it travel in 1 minute? So let's go ahead and see this. Okay. So what are our 2 units? I have miles. Over what? What am I comparing this? I'm comparing it through minutes. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put equal to. Okay. So, based on this information, what do we have? We have 18 miles. Okay. Over how many minutes? 30 minutes. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this just like this. I need to find out my information. Okay, so I need to make sure I have 1 minute over here. So I need to find out, hey, how much is it going to be? How many miles is it going to be for 1 minute? So same thing. I need to get 30 and I need to turn it into a 1. So what I just did here was divide its denominator by its own denominator. So 30 divided by 30, that's actually going to give you the 1 minute. Okay, and as you remember, what you do on one side, you do at the other. So you also divide 18, but now you're going to divide it by 30 because you have that as a denominator. 18 divided by 30, it's actually going to give you a decimal, and it's absolutely fine. And that would be 0.60. So you could actually put that in there and it's going to be miles. So 0.60 miles per minute. You could also turn this into a fraction if you need to, and you could actually do that as well if you like. Okay, now you could also do your cross multiply. Now, how would that look? Same information. You get 18, okay, over 30, because we already have this set up, equals, and since you don't know your miles, or at least you didn't know your miles, you could put x, multiply it by 1, over 1, sorry. And let's go ahead and get this. You're going to cross multiply, and I'm going to use a different color so you know what to get. So you have 30 times x, that would be 30 times x is 30x, equals 18 times 1, that's 18. Then you go ahead and do your one-step equation. You want to leave x by itself. So in order to do that, you do the inverse operation. And 30 is with x, so divide by 30, divide by 30. This, you get to cross it out. Boom, boom, 30 divided by 30 is 1. X is now by itself. And 18 divided by 30 will also give you 0.60. Okay, so the answer would be in 1 minute, and I'm going to put the little one here, it travels 0.60 of a mile. So that's over half a mile. Go ahead and box that in, and that would be your answer. Okay, so always remember, my students, if it is asking you for that unit rate, that's the key word, the unit rate. That means your denominator needs to be turned into that 1. Your denominator needs to be turned into that 1. Your denominator needs to be turned into a 1. What did you do? Go ahead and check it out. If you still have questions, go ahead and ask me.